Agyana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Narom Chaivam Narotamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nasta Priya Suabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So, Hare Krishna. And before magsimula tayo lahat, I would like to greet and welcome my senior godbrothers, our co-host and educator for our Srimad Bhagavatam session, His Grace Radhanath Prabhu and Navadip Chandra Das Prabhu Ki Jai.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning. So, sobrang bilis. We just ended the second chapter yesterday. We're gonna start sa third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, Creation, chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnation. Text number 1. Sutta said, this is Sutta Goswami, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. And thus, at first, there was the creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe. So, yesterday, nag-discuss tayo about yung tatlong Vishnu and the last Vishnu na diniscuss na incarnation ni Krishna ay yung diniscuss natin, which is the Chirodakashayi Vishnu or the Super Soul or Paramatma, Krishna from within. So, in this chapter, mas inelaborate yung first and second expansion ni Krishna na si Lord Vishnu. And sinabi dito is the first expansion ni Krishna as Vishnu is si Karano Dakashayi Vishnu. Karano or Karana is literally means casual, ano? Casual ocean. So in the spiritual world, andun si um, um, Mahavishnu or Karano Dakashayi Vishnu. And from him, sa mga pores niya, as he breathed out, lumalabas yung mga maliliit na like mustard seed. Kung mahilig kayo magluto, alam niyo kung gaano kalit yung mustard seed. Gaano karami lumalabas sa pores niya habang nag-exhale siya. Just like a paper bag full ng mga mustard seed. And each mustard seed is one universe. So, ang dami nun. So, totoo yung sinasabi ng mga modern scientists na mga hindi lang isang universe meron tayo, may mga multiverse. And from that, ayun yung time na yon, exhale, tapos inhale. Babalik na yung mga universes na yon. In that short span of time of Mahavishnu or Karana Dakashayi Vishnu, ayun na yung whole creation and annihilation. So imagine mo, exhale ka, tapos inhale. In his time, ganoon lang yung buong creation ng mga universes. But of course, sa relativity ng time, in that in those universes, one universe, andun din si Vishnu, nag-expand din siya. Doon naman si Garbo Dakashayi Vishnu because it is just like an egg, yung, sorry, ganyan na, zoom in natin from this one. Half nung universe na yon may ocean din. Kaya tawag yung Garboda Ocean. Then, nandun ni si Vishnu. Tinatawag siyang Garboda Kashayi Vishnu. So, this is Karona Dakashayi Vishnu and Garboda Kashayi Vishnu. From him, si Garboda Kashayi Vishnu, sa navel niya, may stem na tumubo. And from that stem, it is actually a lotus flower. From there, dun lumabas si Lord Brahma. So that is the second Vishnu. Si Lord Brahma yung tinatawag na the engineer of this material creation. And he was tasked na mag um, progenate as well as to create this material universe. Yung 14 planetary system, 14 floors. So from basement, may pababa, 7 floors. Saka pataas, 7 floors. So those are the heavenly planets and the hellish planets. So ibig sabihin, kahit pumunta tayo sa hell, 'di ba yung pagbata ako, gusto ko pumunta sa heaven or pumunta ako sa hell, material world pa rin pala 'yon. So hindi yun yung goal natin. Kasi within this one parang zoomin yung isang zoomin yung isang universe. Material world pa rin 'yan. Ang gusto natin puntahan is the spiritual world. So kung di niyo nakikita 'to, wala kayong ganitong Srimad Bhagavatam, let me know. Kailangan niyo ng libro na 'to. Namadeep Chandra Prabhu, you wanna say something?
Yeah, good morning to everyone. Sobrang fascinating yung yung topic ngayon. Yun nga, Garboda, Kishora, Karana, parang di na maabot ng ng utak ko. Dahil di naman talaga kayang abutin kasi kaya naman, I mean, kasi unlimited nga si Krishna eh. So, una pa lang ng creation, medyo, sobrang, na. Kumbaga, ang realize ko lang dito is, yun nga, Garboda, Kashay, Vishnu, and, Garboda, Kashay, Vishnu, yung lumabas yung mga pores niya, ay yung sa pores niya may mga lumabas na mga innumerable universe. Tapos, isa lang tayo doon sa universe na yon. So, kung iisipin mo, sobrang laki naman pala niya. Kasi pores lang yun, skin pores. Di nga visible yung pores natin eh. Pero may mga lumabas doon, tapos hindi lang innumerable, countless na universe. Tapos isa lang tayo doon. Tapos, yun. Merong kwento na nabasa ko sa Servant of the Servant ni Tamal Krishna Gurudev na yung one time napapagod na siya sa pag-manage ng construction ng Mayapur Temple. And then sabi niya parang dami niya ginagawa. Sabi niya kay Prabhupada, parang basta sobrang dami. Construction, pati yung mga pagbili, pag-inventory and all, pati yung pag-manage ng mga tao. And then, pinakuha ni Prabhupada yung first canto. Nasaan na yung first canto mo? Yan. Tapos, kinuha ang ganun sa shelf. Pinakuha niya kay Tamal Krishna Gurudev. Tapos, tinuro niya yung mga innumerable universe na yan. Tapos, sabi niya ganun. Si Mahavishnu lumabas yung innumerable universe. Doon sa isang universe, merong parang 9 planetary system, parang ganyan, na solar system. So, 9 ba or 7? Basta. Tapos yung isang planet doon is Earth. Doon sa Earth, merong 7 continent. 7 continent. Doon sa 7 continent, may isang bansa doon, which is, we can say, America or USA. Then doon sa America, maraming cities, nabubuo ng mga cities. And then in one city, maraming mga, how you say it, streets and all, something ganyan. Parang zoom in talaga. Laki nga, ito parang zoom in. And in one street, maraming mga bahay. Doon sa maraming bahay na yon may isang bahay. And doon sa isang bahay or isang structure, maraming tao doon. And that is the parang sinabi niya yung address parang 26 Second Avenue, yun yung yata yung temple na na kinakatayuan nila. Doon maraming tao doon or maraming devotee. And meron doon isang Tamal Krishna na he thinks that he is very important. So, kumbaga, inano ni Prabhupada doon na, okay, laki nga na kumbaga, very tiny lang tayo. Pero, we always think that we are the center of everything, center of existence. Yung problema ko, yun yung pinakamahirap na problema, tulungan niyo akong isolve. Parang ganun. So, by that illustration of Prabhupada, parang nandoon naging humble tayo na okay, hindi naman pala ako yung center of ang existence, and which is si Krishna. And we are here to serve the servant of the servant. So kahit ba gaano pa tayo kapagod yun nga si Mahavishnu or si Krishna is mas marami pang ginagawang arrangement for us, just for us to realize him and think of him and go back to him. Something like that. Masyado mahaba.
So yes, yes, very humbling nga naman to think of that realization how big this creation is. And that's one important point. It's very humbling. We see how really small we are in this vast creation. Kasi this material world, actually, the modern scientists, di pa nga nila masukat kung gaano yung depth, nung width, yung length, nung universe natin eh. And hindi lang yung nag-iisa universe din natin. So yung capacity ng mind ng mga tao, ang hirap i-fathom yung mga merong dito sa cosmic creation. But knowing this will help us how to become humble as well as to answer our questions. Kasi it is nature of a human being na tanungin, saan ako galing? Ano meron dito? And often, people will speculate. There will be Big Bang Theory, there will be other theories na pwede nilang imbentohin just for the sake na ito yung creation. But it is very impossible to understand this kasi yung realm ng mind natin is sobrang limited yung senses as well as we don't have the facility to measure. One thing that we could rely on is still the genuine scriptures that is coming from the parampara system and coming from straight from Krishna himself. So in-explain niya yon, and thousands of years yung mga sages sa disciplic succession natin, even the kings before, ito yung alam nila. In the chain of disciplic succession, alam na nila to. And what we have now, the modern science, is just a few hundreds of years na speculating. Some, medyo nagiging close yung mga measurement na gagawa nila. For to how do you call it? To experiment on this will take lifetimes. Parang one could spend billions, millions of money, spend lifetimes after lifetimes, or yung buong life natin just to measure something. Pero sinabi, hindi raw yung purpose ng life. Kasi out of curiosity, pwede maligaw tayo dun sa mga pag-discover ng mga to. Pero hindi daw yung purpose ng life. The purpose of life is to know our real position. That we are really the servant of the servant of the servant. We are part dun sa creation ni Krishna na we are the servant. And this Krishna and the avatars, his avatars, are those who are, we are gonna, those we will serve. So knowing this position is one of the purpose in life, and doing it is the action that we need to do. So ayun na nga, from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Karonadakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, then he still expands himself as Karanodakashayi Vishnu, or the super soul, the Paramatma, or the Krishna from within. So siya yung ibig sabihin na he pervades and naroon siya sa lahat ng living entity. Sa lahat ng demigods, sa lahat ng even demons, di ba? Sa lahat ng animal creatures, moving and non-moving living entity, andun din si Krishna. Actually, he maintains the universe, si Garbhodakasha and Vishnu, he maintains the universe. At the same time, he maintains the human forms, the other living entities. He maintains that. Radhanath Prabhu, you want to share something?
Hare Krishna, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, speaking of maintenance, that's the exact reason why Lord Vishnu was there. So, yung napag-aralan natin in the previous sessions, there's these modes of nature, di ba? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. We have learned that Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance, which is also in creation. He's the destroyer, diba? So that's Lord Shiva. So in terms of creation, like Radhachan Prabhu said, there is Lord Brahma, who is the engineer. He is the chief engineer of this whole cosmic creation. He's in the mode of passion, diba? So that's Lord Brahma. Then the Lord Vishnu, he is the one who is in charge of the mode of goodness. Um, like you said, he's the one maintaining all this action going on. And Lord Vishnu, that's the name Vishnu actually is meaning because he pervades all. So that's one of the, I don't know how many meanings of Lord Vishnu, the name of Lord Vishnu is. And speaking of maintenance also, Lord Vishnu, um, siya rin yung ano eh, hindi siya yung, hindi by accident that he is in charge of the mode of goodness. Because it is said that, we understand that in the mode of goodness, that's a platform for which one can grow from being just a regular, human being evolving to more higher modes, which is the mode of pure goodness, which is Suda Sattva. So si Lord Vishnu rin actually nagpa-facilitate nun. Let me read that. I was reading this about Lord Vishnu and this come up. And it is said here that in this sattva nature, which gives the living beings the tendency to grow toward the higher truth, meaning those who are seeking for just the higher truths, the transcendence. Diba? The light ay more cohesive and intense reality. In this sense, Lord Vishnu is also called Hari. Maririnig din natin yon sa maraming pagbabasa natin ng Vedic scriptures. Na si Lord Vishnu is also called Hari, or one who removes the darkness of illusion. So, di ba? Isa rin sa mga many names ni Lord Vishnu yon. This illusion ultimately means the idea that living beings live separate from or without connection to the Lord. So that is just one of the many wonderful, you can say, purposes of Lord Vishnu, why he is the maintainer, why he is in the mode of goodness. So, and of course, sa marami pang pagbabasa in the future, malalaman natin yung mga wonderful characteristics ni Lord Vishnu. And yes, from him comes many other forms, like you've mentioned, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. But otherwise, it's the same Vishnu in different forms with different purposes. Yeah.
Jai.
And also, if I may, since I also like the yung may sinabi ka about people tend to, especially the modern scientists, they tend to speculate, especially when something is really out of their reach, They will say it's an alien technology. Once there's something na hindi na nila maintindihan, or hindi na maarok ng kanilang modern so-called um, equipment or even their own intelligence, they will just simply say this is alien technology, something that they cannot understand. In a sense, that's true because the senses are limited, the intelligence are limited. Um, and for this special purpose, Srila Prabhupada was trying to build this wonderful temple in Mayapur. That is the temple of the Vedic planetarium, which is gearing towards this very, you can say, controversial, very interesting, something that everybody's really maybe have no idea at all. What is this creation? You look up above your head and you can see it's a total darkness at night, and it's like it's endless. So mag-wonder ka eh. So what's in there, how things are going on there. So in this very very purpose that this temple of Vedic planetarium in Mayapur is being built so that we can showcase, because like Radha Prabhu said, people tend to speculate, but they're forgetting that all of this is already mentioned in the scriptures, the genuine sastras. There's no need to speculate. There's some terminologies, so many explanations there that we might not be able to understand. But otherwise, everything is there. So with this purpose, this temple is being built where it will showcase the whole creation. So we can visualize what's really going on there. So there's no need to speculate anymore. And of course, when it's successfully opened, people will become interested, especially those who are in source of scientific field. They will see that the sastras are genuine. They will accept this explanation and presentation of the creation. So yeah, there's no need anymore to speculate. Everything is in the sastras.
Jai. And that's very true kasi um, recently we went also to Temple of Vedic Planetarium. That will be the biggest temple around the world, no? Maybe this ano lang, this yuga or pero for sure before baka meron din silang mga ginawa mas malaki. Time nila Krishna malalaki yung mga temples nila. But yeah, one thing we might also sabi ni Radhanath Prabhu, we might not um, really understand or even makabisado yung names of all these characteristics, personalities na sinabi dito. Pero one thing is, ina-emphasize dito, who's the supreme, who's the fountainhead. Just like Kshirodakashayi Vishnu and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, sila yung fountainhead ng mga demigods. And from demigod, Lord Brahma, in the next verse, second verse, it was mentioned, a part, in the translation, a part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe. So that's the Garbhodaka ocean. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. So, from Lord Brahma, sa kanya rin galing yung mga ibang demigods. So, siya yung father ng mga created beings. And yung fountainhead nun is si Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And now, pag inatras mo pa, saan nanggaling yung Purusha avatars ng Vishnu? Kay Krishna pa rin. So ultimately, it is being established who's the supreme personality of Godhead. That's one reason knowing this cosmic creation. Of course, this is just few chapters when we go to the fourth canto, fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Much more detailed yun. So, kung sinasabi ni Radhanath Prabhu na yung mga tao iisip na alien technology. Alam mo ba sa Ancient Alien na series, may isang devotee pala doon, may isang professor doon. Nakalimutan ko ano yung name niya, pero kasama siya doon sa mga nag-aaral ng mga ano. Na-interview sila sa Wisdom of the Sages.
I think
Naalala ko yun.
his devotee name is Druta Karma Prabhu. I forgot
Yeah.
the actual name, but in the Hare Krishna world, his name is Druta Karma Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very intelligent. And then
Intelligent, yeah.
yeah,
And
like you said, he's there.
And yung mga sources ng mga ini-explain niya do'n, hindi hula, galing mismo sa scriptures. And totoo, yung iba naman technology talaga is, parang who could say na parang who we are to think na sabi nga ni Nabati Prabhu yung example na binigay niya, tayo yung sentro ng universe, 'di ba? Na walang buhay sa ibang planet, walang ibang, living entity sa ibang planets. And mas advanced nga sila sa atin, eh. So, a little teaser sa Srimad Bhagavatam, merong isang planet, sa hellish planet pa yun, na so much advanced than what we have here. Technology-wise, and other things, mas grabe yung meron sa kanila. So, sobrang ano yun, sobrang fascinating. At the same time, we are really put into place, in the right place. Saan tayo pupwesto and how do we live our life? How do we think knowing all this? Nabudip Chandra Prabhu.
Um, yung ano nga, yung pag mga sprout na yan, pinipilit kong ano, intindihin eh. Pero, I mean, si ano daw, um, Garboda, yeah, Karana Kasai Vishnu nag-glance. Tapos, yung glance niya doon nag-create, meaning yung glance na yun nag-put ng seed. And then from that seed, may nag-sprout na mga universe and all. Pero kung titignan daw natin sa seed, or kunyari pag nagtanim ka, meron kang seed, nagtanim ka, nilagay mo sa lupa, and then may nag-sprout na tree, um, yung seed na yon na-destroy na. Pero itong kay dito nga sa ina-explain dito sa creation, si Karana Tashay Vision, hindi pa rin na-destroy yung seed. Kasi yun nga sinasabi ni Radhanath Prabhu na yung maintenance, siya pa rin yun, and then na-maintain pa rin yung form niya, original form niya. So, hindi siya na-destroy na, okay, tinanim ko na yung seed, tumubo na yung tree, tapos wala na yung seed na yun. Pero ito, si Karana Kashay Karano Dakashay Vishnu is, yun, siya pa rin yun. Kasi siya yung nag-create nun. And then, yun nga, gano'n siya ka-powerful. And then, kaya niya pang i-expand ng unlimited hanggat kaya niya. So, kaya nag-create na nga siya ng material ng universe, and then from inside that universe, meron pang mga, sabi mo nga is from Lord Brahma, na-create niya rin yung, sa kanya rin ang galing yung lumabas yung mga ibang demigods. Then, from that innumerable living entity, yun, may tagi-isa pang, alam ko yun pa lang yung sasabihin doon, di ba? Ngayon pa lang. Yung Karanoda Kashay Vishnu, Garboda Kashay Vishnu, and Shiroda Kashay Vishnu. So, yan, continue mo na.
So yes, it was being discussed here yung tatlong klaseng vision na yon, from the biggest, although big pa rin syempre yun. Krishna could be the biggest, could be the smallest. That's how unlimited he is. So it is just mentioned here, may nabanggit nga rin yung seed giving. Si Krishna yung seed giving. Siya yung Purusha. And the other, um, the Prakriti or the energy is the like a female energy. So when the seed-giving father, Vishnu, glances, doon na impregnates. Doon na, ayun yung way paano nagkaroon ng life on material earth, material plane, material world. That's how it happened. Yung glance lang yon. Unlike yung meron tayo sa what we have normally here, kailangan ng intercourse para for the how do you call it? For the creation to happen. Pero Krishna, he can use all his organs because he is spiritual. All his body is spiritual. All his organs is spiritual. Can do, and also his organs can do other parts ng function ng organs niya. So from him, yung life started. Nandun syempre, in detail na yon. Andun na yung time, una humalo sa 16 principles and nag-create, na-agitate, tapos nagtuloy-tuloy na. Pero in the third text, it was mentioned, it is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha. But he was nothing to do with that, with the created material ingredients. So, ayun yung ingredients na yun, yung mga tatlo. His body is eternal in spiritual existence per excellence. So, sinasabi na he is the source, siya rin yung ni-create din nun, pero he's also aloof. Dito medyo nalilito yung ibang devotees eh. Pero once, kaya isang importante aralin to, we would know na he is everywhere and also he's not there. Yung, um, yung thought na yon na he is one and different, yung mga ganon, if one knows this, one could understand a little bit how this inconceivable truth is. So from Krishna and the Super Soul, he is everywhere. So he is also the source ng maintenance. Kasi si Krishna in the form of the Super Soul is everywhere. But also, Krishna is originally in the spiritual world. But his energy, his internal energy, ayun yung source niya yun. Kaya that's why he's also aloof dun sa creation. So we will go further on that. Pero kaya sinasabi, bakit hindi discuss to? Bakit nasa first canto rin to? Parang ang hirap-hirap naman My Dear Prabhus, tapos creation, tas universal form. Sa umpisa pa lang, bakit? It was mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, the conception of the Virat Rupa or Vishvarupa, universal form, of the absolute truth is especially meant for us, the unifieds, who can hardly think of the transcendental form of the personality of Godhead. So yung ibang tao, di ba, mga quote nila, inarrange ng universe yan. So they could not fathom na si Krishna may person, is a person, is a supreme person. Inisip nila so big kasi God nga dapat big, dapat massive and all. Galing yung perception nila. Si Krishna rin yon in his universal form, in his Vishvarupa form, in Vishnu forms ni Krishna. It is helpful para dun sa mga nagsisimula to develop this Shraddha or faith kasi to see is to believe tayo eh. And yung nakikita natin sa paligid, it's very massive. Oh, this is Krishna. Of course, it is one of the three ways how we could understand Krishna. That is the Brahman or the impersonal Brahman. Krishna as the universal form. And now as we move further, and these scriptures that we're studying, it is moving forward deeper as we will know Krishna from within, the Paramatma. So, unti-unti ni-discuss natin. And we will know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, Krishna Himself. So, wala kasi tayong eyes to really see that. In the fourth verse, we will go in this topic. It is mentioned the devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces, all extraordinary. In that body, there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings, and are adorned with garlands. So, pinag-usapan na natin yung eyes na to. We have imperfect senses, we have material eyes. Pero sino na nakakakita kay Krishna in His universal form? And what more pa yung two-arm form ni Krishna? In the 11th chapter ng Bhagavad Gita, kung natandaan natin, si Arjuna nung humiling kay Krishna na he is already convinced, natapos na yung 9th and 10th chapter. Convinced na siya si Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, ito yung kailangan gawin niya. Pero he prayed na, pwede mo ba sa akin pakita yung universal form mo? Since nandiyan ka na, nag-uusap na lang tayo eh. I've been meaning to ask. So, ano yung purpose bakit humiling si Arjuna na ito? One is to establish Krishna as the Supreme. Kasi only Krishna could do that. Even the yogis could not expand himself, could not show any universal form. So na-establish yun, hindi lang siya theory talagang pinakita ni Krishna. Second, to avoid imposters. Yung mga impostor na, incarnation. Pagpunta mo sa Quiapo, maraming ganun. 'Di ba? Maraming, maraming incarnation. 'Di ba? Sa India, syempre, ang dami doon. And they could make a lot of followers as well. Pero, eto na yung sinet nilang standard eh. If you're the supreme being, incarnation of Krishna, meron kang um, universal form. If wala, di mo makikita, pwede mo sabihin, hindi ko makikita universal form mo kasi wala akong spiritual eye. Pwede mo hilingin sa kanya. Eh, ikaw yung supreme, bigyan mo ako ng spiritual eye for one to see. So this establishes again kung sino yung supreme. So first canto, lahat ng arguments na pwede nating isipin, lahat ng impersonalistic mentality na nakatanim sa atin will be removed. Because of these devotees, perfect eye. And those practices and other explanations will be shared by Radhanath Prabhu.
Ano yun? Na-miss ko yung last part. May iniisip ako
So,
nire-reading
yeah.
sabihin.
We're talking about the perfect eyes, yung devotees, paano niya nakikita si Krishna sa paligid, paano niya nakita. Here, in-explain the universal form, pero also, how do we see Krishna everywhere and how do we see Krishna sa mga devotees or anything.
Well, certainly this stage, no, you seeing Krishna within our very eyes right now, which is a few years time magkaroon na tayong sakit sa mata. Hindi na nga tayo makakita ng actual na mga bagay rito, no. Certainly this topic is not very easy to understand. I mean, it's easy to understand in a sense that yes, we have material eyes, we can only see with it, the material things. We're lucky enough if we are actually in that position where with these eyes we can see Krishna, you know. But that is possible. It's not like it didn't say it's impossible. Sabi nga, di ba, impossible is, sabi ni Srila Prabhupada, is in the Fool's Dictionary lang. Pero certainly it is something that it's not also very easy to attain. It takes a lot of devotion, of course. But even before that, it takes a lot of understanding that Krishna is actually present everywhere. Even in some stories in the Bhagavatam, diba, there's example that even Prahlad Maharaj, is the young boy, he can already see Krishna everywhere. So that when he said Krishna is in this pillar, his father is challenging him, Krishna appeared because he believed it and he can see Krishna everywhere. So like that. So seeing Krishna in anywhere we go, anywhere we see, is certainly a very desirable position, because if this is our goal in our practice of Krishna consciousness, to always be reminded of Krishna, and if that reminder comes through seeing him anywhere, is certainly a position where everybody can certainly aspire to. Parang kung makuha natin yon, aba, makikita natin, successful tayo sa attempt natin na maging devotee ni Krishna and maging Krishna conscious. But again, it's not something that we can just imitate. It's not something that comes very easily. Like I've said, it takes a lot of understanding. It takes a lot of practice of devotional activities. Even our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada doesn't really, of course, we know that he's a pure devotee of Krishna, and he can certainly see Krishna everywhere. But even he himself is so careful, although there are some instances that he went into a trance. But devotees like Srila Prabhupada never, you can say, put on a show of this. Yeah, that's not also very important. Although us, as someone who really admires Srila Prabhupada as our founder Acharya, who gave us Krishna consciousness, established Krishna consciousness all over the world. Yes, they are there in that state. But for us aspiring devotees, that's certainly a good thing to aspire to. We see Krishna everywhere. But like it was mentioned, we see with our ears, actually. We see with our ears. Na-mention ni Radha Charan Prabhu Samnur yan eh. very beautifully when we're having this village talk. I think you mentioned something like that. Actually, pure devotees of Krishna, they don't see with their they see with their spiritual eyes, but it is through hearing. It is through hearing, meaning through understanding. Diba? So if we wish to have this vision, seeing Krishna everywhere, it is through understanding. It is through knowledge, meaning through the ears. We hear. Then when we hear, we can understand. And of course, everywhere we can see Krishna. And that is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, diba? This state, the Brahma, Bhuta state, where one actually sees Krishna everywhere, meaning his vision is already purified. So yes, by all means, we should try to not imitate, but follow the footsteps of the pure devotees of Krishna through hearing, and through hearing we shall see. Yeah.
Navadip Chandra Prabhu. How can we see Krishna from our material eyes? Paano natin siya pwede makita?
Ayan, speaking of seeing na yan, wala nga daw tayo spiritual eye. Kakatapos lang natin ng deity worship kagabi. So, mercy nga ni Krishna yon na makita natin siya through his original, yung original form na two-arm form as Krishna himself through his deity form. And then, inallow niya tayong makapag-serve sa kanya through his deity form na personal yung klase ng hindi mo na nga maabot yung Shiroda Kashay Vishnu, Garboda Kashay Vishnu, and then parang ang hirap maarok nga pero sobrang merciful si Krishna na nag-assume siya ng deity form niya for us to have the facility na makapag-serve tayo sa kanya personally. Kasi lagi nga, alam nyo, hindi ko lang nabanggit doon sa deity worship, pero sabing ganun, yung buong almost a year na yon na pag-aral about deity worship, ang iniisip, ang expectation ko, or ang expectation ng iba is, pagka nag-aral ka dyan, magaling na pujari ka na, alam mo na yung skills and all, and then, lahat talagang magiging parang expert o professional pujari ka, parang ganun. Hindi. Ang conclusion ng buong course na yun is deity form of Krishna is Krishna himself. He's alive. And you have to, in that way, naturally, you will have affection. And if we serve him in his deity form na siya ngayon talaga, then andoon yung purification sa atin, andoon yung affection, andoon na de-develop yung love of God. So yun yung the whole concept of deity worship. Kasi yun nga itong mga creation na to, medyo ang hirap nga abutin Kasi ang dami ng may mga Big Bang Theory pa, ganyan. Meron, yung to explain that Big Bang Theory, narinig ko to kay Guru Maharaj Si Albert Einstein daw, may kaibigan siyang scientist. Tapos, usap silang ganyan na itong ang isang kaibigan niya somehow hindi siya naniniwala na may Diyos or anything. And then, Big Bang Theory nga yun talagang pinupush niya. Then, actually, parang nakabasa yata ng Bhagavad Gita si Albert Einstein. May sinasabi lagi siyang mga quotes na there's something beyond dun sa mga calculation and all the creation. So, laging pinupush nga nung yung Big Bang Theory, and then, sabi ni Radhanath Prabhu is, yung nag-sprout lang yan, lumutang dyan. One time, si Albert Einstein mismo gumawa nung parang collage or yung solar system. Tapos pininturahan niya, 9 planets and all. Tapos in-string niyang ganyan, nakalutang, magandang presentation. Tapos dumating yung kaibigan niyang scientist na atheist. And then sabi niya, oh, ganda na ito ah. Solar system, ganyan-ganyan. Sino gumawa niyan? Walang gumawa niyan. Nag-ano lang yan dyan, nag-sprout lang dyan, nag-ano. Hindi, niloko mo ako, kalokohan naman yan. So, of course, may gumawa niyan. Ang ganda pa ng pagkaka-painting, tapos may na naka-string pa, nakalutang ng ganyan. Eh, walang gumawa niyan. Ganyan lang yan, lumutang lang yan dyan. So, doon may explain na, no, there's no such thing Big Bang Theory. Lahat yan may nag-organize, lahat yan may nag-orchestra, lahat yan may nagplano kung paano or anything. And walang ibang makakagawa ng ganong complex, very unique na klase ng creation ng is si Krishna lang, yung Bhagavan, which is yung sa loob nga ng katawan natin, ang hirap ng anuhin eh, yung mga function ng organs and all, and then pag kumain ka lang, then madidistribute na, di mo alam yung nangyari sa loob, nanonourish ka na, ganyan, or maraming mahirap abutin ng our tiny brain. Pero if we just rely on the scripture, everything is there. In-explain na lahat. Tatanggapin mo na lang. So, something like that.
Jai, Jai, and yes, Krishna's mercy in his form, in this deity form. And through hearing, we could understand, we could see Krishna. Hindi siya yung definition ng deity form is very far from idol worship because Krishna's form as deities, sabi nga ni Navitip Chandra Prabhu sa kanyang Little Temple deity worship class, um, the deity form of Krishna is authorized by Krishna himself. And yung mga nakakita kay Krishna, yung mga how to serve him, there are standards in the scriptures how to do that. Not just inventing something and worshiping that idol. So that's the difference. And Sri Prabhupada mentioned here, so we want to see Krishna through hearing. There are also the forms ni Krishna in his deity forms, or see Krishna's representatives in his pure devotees, in the spiritual masters. Anong dapat gagawin kung nandyan nga sila? What should be done? Sri Prabhupada mentioned here that with our present materialized senses, we cannot perceive anything of the transcendental Lord. Our present senses are to be rectified by the process of devotional service. So yung sabi ni Navadip Chandra na for that heart, ang dami nating anartas and all, mahirap nga gawin yun. For one to cleanse that unwanted baggages, we need to do devotional service. That's the byproduct. Hindi yun yung goal natin na tanggalin lang. Kasi ang goal natin is to serve talaga. That's the main goal. And Krishna could only be perceived through pre-devotional service. Paulit-ulit nilipit ni Srila Prabhupada dito na through devotional service. And even in the scriptures, in different, in Bhagavad Gita, in different verses, even in Brahma Samhita, si Lord Brahma mismo nagsabi nun, only devotional service can reveal Him. So, i-rephrase lang din siya. But same, only devotional service. Sabi ni Prabhupada, so we have to take information of the transcendental form of the Lord through persons who have actually seen Him with perfect eyes, smeared with devotional service again. So that pag-smeared ng spiritual eyes sa atin is only through devotional service. So we can only perceive Krishna by doing that. That's how important Bhakti Yoga is. And these forms na meron tayo na mercy ni Krishna, we see Krishna through hearing. Paano? We hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day, regularly attending Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we could see Krishna. We see Krishna in his deity forms. We can even touch Krishna in his deity forms. Diba? We could serve him. Pwede mo siya bihisan. Pwede mo siya nilagyan flowers. Walang mo siya pwede ka mag-offer, your object of worship. Diba? Nandun siya. So, sobrang merciful ni Krishna. He is formless to the neophytes, but he is in transcendental form to the expert servitor. Again, the servant. If we serve the servant of the servant, maybe by their mercy, by little percent of their mercy, we could see Krishna in his transcendental form. And ayun yung hiniling ni Arjuna after niya makita yung universal form, even yung four-arm form ni Krishna as Lord Vishnu, nakita niya rin yon sa gitna ng battlefield. Pero ano yung final request ni Arjuna? Krishna, can you please show me your two-arm form? And only devotees wants that. Only devotees could also realize Krishna because they are lovingly serving Krishna. And in the 5th chapter, iikot na yung explanation ni Sutta Goswami kasi binigyan rito yung Purusha avatars, yung tatlong Vishnu, and how progenation came. And habang nangyayari yung life on the material world, si Krishna bumababa pa rin. Hindi lang natapos doon. Sobrang merciful nga niya. Lagi niyang gusto makasama yung mga devotees. Save yon. And yung mga demoniacs, i-annihilate din. So, bumaba siya in these different forms. Meron tinatawag na Yuga avatars. Per Yuga, we have 4 Yugas. Di-discuss natin further din yan as we run through sa Srimad Bhagavatam. The Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So, different colors din yun. Yung bumaba si Krishna. White, red, black, and yellow. Just like the last 2 Yugas, Dwapara Yuga, Krishna came as Shama Sundar in the blackish complexion. And in the Kali Yuga, he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he propagated the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So these pastimes Yuga avatars, bumaba rin si Krishna in his Lila avatars. Different pastimes, ginawa niya yon. And that will be the discussion for our succeeding sessions. Text number 6 to 27. Puro summary, introduction, short story ng mga lila avatars na yon. Pero in details, i-discuss yun sa buong Srimad Bhagavatam. So, yung first canto to para mostly parang puro introduction lang to ni Sutta Goswami. Remember, ilang araw sila o years sila nag-usap doon sa may nag-perform ng sacrifice to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So, to continue studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we could transfer to the other classroom. You can log in sa classroom ni Shira Guru Maharaj. So, we will discuss further yung Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll read something before we end. Sabi ni Jonah, we don't have to see Krishna physically to believe he is real. We just have to feel his presence through the vibrations. Di lang basta vibrations, the spiritual vibrations which is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And yes, the class last night, ayun yung class nila Navadip Chandra Prabhu. God allowed us to serve Him through tangible way, through His deity form. Sabi ni Raul Prabhu, Krishna is not cheap that He can be seen by anybody. If you want to see Krishna, God face to face, then we must follow the rules and regulations. That's one. We must chant Hare Krishna and purify ourselves. Then gradually, the time will come when we are purified, we will see God. That's what Prabhupada wrote in one of his books that I've read. Wow, wonderful. In our contaminated condition, we are not qualified to see God, but He is so kind that He allows us to see Him in His deity form in the temple. And He allows us to be with Him in His holy names, Hare Krishna, Mahamantra. So don't forget to chant your rounds, read Srila Prabhupada books, and attend the classes. Today, 8 o'clock will be with Sri Guru Maharaj. 11 o'clock will be a class with in the Bhagavad Gita. And 7 o'clock will be village talk.
The 11 o'clock class is given by His Grace, Radhacharan Prabhu Ki Jai.
Ako pa rin yun. Baka magsawa
No,
lang.
but you have to clarify that because I'm just seeing these online classes. Kishore just said 11 o'clock class for Bhagavad Gita is supposedly Janani Vasdas. So just confirm that.
Na-confirm na. Pinasa sa akin.
Okay. But that's the announcement sa web online class is still Janani Vas. So
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
we just
I-clarify natin
might
yan.
want
Yeah.
to, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Sure,
But of
sure.
course, whoever it is, you or Jananibas, we'll be looking forward to that
Yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
So, thank you very much. First of all, sa ating very dear Prabhus, na Radhanath Das Prabhu and Navadip Chandra Prabhu. Maraming maraming
Very good.
salamat. We'll be together again next week. Kasama sila. Pero tuloy-tuloy ang ating Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, pag libre sila, they will log in anytime. So, I'm your host, Radha Charandas.
Nabadvipa Chandra Das.
Hare Krishna. Salamat po. Parang lagi yung mga kausap natin, parang hindi tayo kilala, no? Kailangan may ganun talaga.
Diba may mga bagong listeners daw?
Okay, thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you,
Hare
thank you very
Krishna.
much. Grantara Srimad
Okay.
Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila
Very good.
Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanand. Ribo. See you sa
Very
next
good.
classroom.